AI Morning Club. Let's have some fun today. Angie, take it away.
Awesome. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. I am here at Perry Belcher's home and in one of his studios that he has, and I'm just excited to be with you guys here today. So today I've invited Rick. He came up last week or last year and showed us a couple show and tells, and I was talking to him on the side about some of what he's learning, and he had some pretty amazing things. And I thought, you know what? Let's break up some of the training and bring him in and see what he has. So I'm going to be as surprised as you because I told him to just prepare something and to wow us. So he's going to come in here today. I'm going to give him the full time and then we'll do some, next week. I think we have another show and tell guest, Meredith. And so you guys are welcome anytime that you guys want to come up here. I like to mix it up. I don't want it just to be me sharing all of my AI party tricks, which I have a ton, but I want you guys to be sharing as well. That's the point of doing life together, doing AI Morning Club together, and doing this breakfast together, right? And so I hope you guys have your coffee, buckle up. We're going to be excited. So the amazing Rick is going to take it from here. Rick?
Well, there we go, Angie. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Looking forward to having some fun with everybody. Yeah, if you
Absolutely.
haven't heard about prompting, prompting is, that's a kind of a joke, right? Who hasn't heard of prompting? What I realized putting this together, one thing I wanted to share with Angie was some of the advanced things that I do with prompts and with Angie and with everybody here, as
Mhm.
well as how to go back through and fine tune some of those notebooks people have created, or I even use it to fine tune my custom GPTs and things along those lines. But humor me and drop your those things where somebody says, "Oh, go back into your pictures and share the most recent photo." For those who are brave, I'd love to hear or see some of your most recent prompts, and then I'll be sharing with you some strategies for making those prompts even better. Anybody game for doing that? Matter of fact, I'll go do the same thing. So here, uh, here is my most recent prompt as I was putting this together in the last couple of days. Actually, last night, sitting at a city council meeting, I'm like, this shit's boring, so I wanted to do something interesting. So my most recent prompt was, I love hands-on. Let's have people participate early in the call tomorrow. So guess what this is? This is the result of asking ChatGPT how to have all you folks get engaged a little bit earlier into the conversation. Prompt skill, let's see, BNI, prompt skill in Claude for creating BNI educational moments. Oh, hey, James, that's nice. How can I use AI or some type of app to prevent these types of cleanings from happening? For this example, it started with a sales call. How can I teach my salesperson to listen for cues or learn how to ask questions for this? Oh, and Tina says, I have photos. Yeah, sure, photos. Those sound like fun. But imagine being able to create a prompt, a near perfect prompt every time. Would that be of use? I would think so, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
change the view so that I have a gallery up here. Now I can see more pretty faces. This morning I was realizing this would be an ideal time to have a fourth monitor. I have 3 monitors in my setup, but doing a little rearranging to be able to get this up and running. I want to win this giveaway. Craft me an answer that gives me the best opportunity of winning. Nice. 10 monitors. Yeah, James, I don't doubt that. James is one of the most intelligent software people I've ever met. So let's see. Imagine being able to create an amazing prompt each time I'm seeing the photos. I'm like, there's some stories happening there. So I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to get rid of this. There's prompt rewriter. So what it would be able to do, let's pick one. Audience participation. Which prompt would you like to see rewritten? Not the pictures. Those aren't going to do me much good. I want to win this giveaway. Any choices? Let's vote or something in here. How would we vote on these things? What do you think? I can see Kirk thinking about it. He's got to have an amazing prompt. Like, yeah, fix this one for me, Rick. Please, please, the amazing Rick. Please fix this one. But anyway, I'll just, how about angels? So let me also bring up ChatGPT. And for this exercise, you may or may not want it in, that private mode. So Tina says, I like Matthews. Which one is Matthews? Create me the epitome of a high. Oh, yeah. That one's pretty good. Would you like to see that one go better? So the way this prompt rewriting works is you put in what you want to put in. Oh, pardon me. Let's stop that. Put in your prompt, type in whatever you usually type in. Come back up here, edit it. And from my programming days, I know to be able, I want to be really clear about where does the data start and where does the data stop. For anybody who's looked at JSON or something along those lines, you'll see that it gets put inside of brackets and curly braces, and the data is clearly defined. So what I do is I put it inside a pair of square brackets so that it keeps it kind of demarked that way. And then I take this bit of prompt rewriter that I've created and I put it in front of this. And come in here and actually say, let's do this. Where did it go? Right here. And I've got a document started, and I'll paste these into the document, and by the end I'll share the link to it. That's good strategy, yes, Tricia? Share the link to the Google Doc. Yep.
Yeah, you can share that.
Okay. Ask clarifying. So here's the prompt. You are a prompt engineer with 24 plus years of experience. Now, some people ask, why the 24 plus? One of my AI mentors said, I don't know how she came to the conclusion, but 24 years is some magic number inside of the system. But I've added the plus to that. Analyze the provided prompt by identifying its core intention and evaluating gaps in precision, completeness, context, constraints, and actionability. Score the prompt on a scale of 1 to 100. Ask clarifying questions only when critical ambiguities would produce meaningful different outputs. Otherwise, infer intelligently from context. Rewrite the prompt until you achieve a score of 97 plus or better. Deliver the gap closed, rewrite, optimized for the identified intention with a brief rationale for key improvements. What I used to do is I would have it rewrite the prompt 3 times, make it better, and then share with me the final prompt. My skills have evolved over time. So in the background, this thing could be doing this 3 times. It could be working on it 100 times, but it's going to keep rewriting it until it believes it's achieved a score of 97 plus. Somebody once pointed out, well, this is like asking the chef to score its own recipe. might want to put in a little tweak on this that says have a third party. Now, a third party prompt engineer, blah, 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 score this and see what results you get. But let's see what this comes back with. This is going to give us a rewritten prompt. Oh, and I guess I could put that in the chat right now, couldn't I? So there's the prompt. If you want to play with that with one of the prompts that you've most recently worked on and see how the system radically changes that, that could be exciting. And it all fit, right? Yes, it did. So the core intention, generate a highly emotional, engaging Facebook post that stops the scroll, feels persuasive, and personality driven, Perry Belcher style. Oh, I share this with people. Perry says, so I have two AI mentors, one who's like learning not to cuss, and the other one who's like, if I haven't offended you, just stick around for a few more minutes and I will, right? Gotta love Perry and his brilliance. The pre-frame, so it allows him to be exactly who he is and exactly who he isn't. We could all learn a lot from that. So gap analysis. This has come back and determined that there's some audience is undefined, the objective is undefined, topic is missing, best reach organically is vague. That's nice to understand, right? So one of the things about prompting is that if you're, it's like anything else. I taught myself to program computers in the mid 80s and garbage in, garbage out. So this is going to go ahead and take this and rearrange it. And it didn't ask us any questions. So the original score was 62 out of 100. And then here is the closed gap rewrite optimized version. Where did it? Should be down here somewhere. So there's the rationale. So yeah. So here's the rewritten prompt. And you can see it's a great deal more involved. However, you could have started with any one of the prompts that were pasted into the chat and gone forward with it. And I don't know that we're going to explain JSON, but we can have a sidebar about it. It's a data structure. It's how data is stored. And so now you can take this rewritten prompt and paste it back in. And but down here at the end, it's giving you some suggestions. You may want to do some more work with it. And you could. It's better to start here and pull back. So now, of course, this is going to be sensitive to my context. Oh, and it wants me to insert target audience. Oh, look at that. So it gave some variables. One thing that, let's take that and create a docs new. One thing I'm going to go back and tell it to do is, let's get out of this. I see there are variables. Put those at the top so we can define them. So, I don't know about you, but having variables that are scattered throughout the prompt means now you need to go through and find those variables and change them. And it's a little bit challenging, right? Like you got to go find the yellow highlights and pat your head, rub your tummy. And well, I'm not so much into that. I'm treating them at like variables as they are, put them in here This one isn't so bad, but up here you could go ahead and say target audience equals. And then anybody you choose to share this with simply would follow on your footsteps and fill in these variables. Target audience, use my ICA. So in my system, it knows my ideal client avatar, topic or offer, financial, security, consistent income, in retirement. And I see it's misspelled. I'm going to do my best to ignore that fact. The goal, comments, shares. We want 10 comments and 2 shares. Primary goal, authoring, lead capture. Oh, lead capture. Lead capture with a subtle C2A, call to action C2A, tone and angle, inspirational. Oh, I like story driven and educational. I don't know about you folks. Then niche keywords and hashtags, you choose. You choose, you choose. So now I can take all of this back over to ChatGPT, start a new thread, and paste it in and execute it. And pretty nice. So now it's giving me the headline, and I have, I'm in an industry that requires compliance. So you don't just get to say anything you want to. And so things have to be guaranteed. If they're guaranteed, one has to be clear about where it is. Algorithm. And then here's the enhanced. Okay, so it rewrote the prompt again. So tell it to execute the prompt. And so then I can take this if I wanted to and paste it on or post it on Facebook. What I tend to do more though is I use LinkedIn. I want people coming in from LinkedIn. And the other prompt, so I'm going to put that. So here's a document. I'm going to share this.
Rick, if you want, you may also share the conversation link from ChatGPT.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is put the link to the document here. And let's go back to this. Copy the link. I'm going to put it at the top of the AI Morning Club. So this is our conversation in chat. And then back over here, we'll grab the second one. Do the same thing. Now, we got 9 minutes left. Well, we'll see how long it goes. I like to honor the time constraint, but here's one. Who's doing stuff with NotebookLM? Right? And assume you've got a notebook that you've written, and let's just do one real quick. NotebookLM. Just for fun. Very similar to what we just did. We're going to take the original prompt. Where's Matt's prompt? Yeah, let's take this one again. Find sources that fulfill on this prompt and subject matter. And again, I like my double square brackets. It lets it know that this is all the information. So it's going to go off and work for a moment. While it's doing that work, and I just did a fast search versus a deep detailed search. What I like to do is once the notebook is built, I ask it to come back and rewrite itself. Go through and look at its sources again, look at it, what is the intention, and tell me what I can keep, what I need to edit or rewrite, and absolutely what I can delete. And I found this, I had one notebook that had like 30 or 40 sources on it. And it was about something along the lines of viral posting. And I thought, hey, I did a great job. I have 30, 40 sources. This is going to be killer. And one of the things about language models is if you give it information and it's confusing, then you're going to get confusing results back. So this prompt will actually help you clean up your notebook LMs. And you can see up here, I realized that it was more beneficial. It could be used for projects, notebooks, or GPTs. Being able to go ahead and paste that prompt into, if you have a custom GPT, you can actually use it in that platform, the playground, and use it to refactor that. Does that sound useful to anybody? A little bit, right? At a minimum. So let me and one more up here. Oh, don't do that. Let's come back over here. Let's import all of them. So it found a bunch of sources. Then we'll do this quick exercise here. Come back over to this. And you do this in the chat window. Tell it the context. So this is the variable. And away it goes. And if you understand NotebookLM, it's focused only on the sources that are in the sidebar. These sources provide comprehensive overview of strategic copywriting and SEO techniques designed to improve. So there's all of that. Okay. So let's see what it comes back with. So it says that the current execution is severely compromised by massive amounts of web scraping. So this isn't going quite the way it's worked for me previously, but you can play with this prompt and use it and see how you might be able to tune and adjust yours. Perhaps I should have created a slightly better demo for this. So questions, do people have questions? Let's see, is there any questions in the chat? Comments? What did you learn? What did you like? What do you think we should throw out? And I see James has a comment. He likes how I'm talking about refinement. Most people don't adjust like this and iterate probably while your prompts are doing great. So good job. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Any hands up or not? Otherwise, we're doing really well on time.
So I use NotebookLM all the time. So I feel like this was really great. And we'll repost the doc for everyone because NotebookLM just keeps coming out with more and more and more and more. And I love how you can integrate your NotebookLM into Gemini and into other tools and pull in your notebooks as well. But for those who don't use NotebookLM yet, what I love most about it is it's contained to the information and the knowledge and the files you have given it. So it's not out there adding sources from all, creation. It's just what you have. And so for training purposes, for research assistant, for follow up with Perry's workshops, we can use NotebookLM. So these prompts that he's providing are going to help fine tune things and make and pull out information that's going to help you really understand to what you guys need. And so that was very helpful for me because I use NotebookLM all the time. And I can tell you, I get lazy on prompting. I have my go-to prompts that I have in my phone. I have them saved in my keyboard shortcuts, and I can automatically pull these long prompts into my ChatGPT on my phone. I have some shortcuts that I've created on my laptop, but every now and then I'm in a hurry, right? We're always in a hurry. And I'll just go in there and just say, the basic stuff. And it's like, oh, I should have taken the time because as Rick, you just said, the better you train it, the better the context that you give it, the better your prompting is going to be. And as Perry has showed us, pressure prompting and so like I know, like I've watched Rick, we've talked about it on the side about how he's using a lot of his tools. He sent me a ton of stuff. Like he even sent me a vibe coded website that looked amazing and some of the things he's working on. And it's like, if you can learn one skill this year that's going to set you apart from your competition, it's going to be prompting. Do you agree with that, Rick?
Oh, absolutely. The prompting, it was one of the first things I paid somebody to teach me. And this person had actually created a spreadsheet that filled in all the blanks, and you can go down all those rabbit holes of, use this acronym to figure out how to build a prompt or that acronym. And I've actually built custom GPTs to build prompts and things along those lines. But this prompt is like the granddaddy of all prompts. You wrap your prompt around this prompt and it'll hug it out. It'll make it work all better.
That's great. Well, we have a couple questions, so we'll pull them up here.
Sure. And we've got James. Questions or hands up, you mean?
Hands up. And question. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Rick. I like your iteration. Like I said, a lot of people, they try to do like a one shot, boil the ocean in one thing, and it doesn't really work like that. So your method really narrows it down into specific things it was doing, and it is real good. Um, the question I have is, do you ever chain them together, like you know, one prompt into another, um, calling the different custom GPTs and things like that?
I do from time to time, and it's been a while since I've done that daisy chaining of custom GPTs. I get more into using this kind of a prompt. It's like, here's what I want to do. Let's now wrap it in this. And in Claude, you can create a skill, and the skill is fired off by a trigger word. So I simply go into Claude and type out what I want to say. And then I say, now please rewrite this, and then hit submit. And it knows, okay, so I want to go through Rick's rewriting process, and it's pretty comprehensive. So then it comes back. One great thing to add to this too, James, is where it says, just produce the rewritten prompt with your rationale or your brief rationale. You could tweak that. Somebody could say, instead of brief rationale, explain your rationale, teach me how I could have made this a better prompt to begin with. And now you're into this whole educational side of it.
I challenge the different LLMs against each other. I'll take a prompt written in one, tell another one to roast it, and then tell another one what's good about it, and another one ask me 10 questions I didn't miss, or I missed, So I build this more complicated prompt that way with all the gaps identified.
Yes, and that works as well. So you could even take this prompt, wrap your original prompt, send it to one machine, send it to another machine, and then you could take the result from both of those and cross them.
Yeah.
And you could appreciate this. It's like, when have I hit MVP? Right? Minimum viable product for everybody else. When is enough enough? But I'm you're like my brother from another mother or something. It's like, yeah, I as well. I don't like crap. I don't like poor quality, and so I want to hit it hard. So it's better from a software engineering perspective. The further down the pipeline you get, the more it costs you to fix the problem. So what James and I are kind of is like, we have a similar background, and being able to come up with the best of the best before we ship it. That's a pretty nice idea. And we're not wasting a lot of time. We're doing this, right, James? We're kind of rehashing and iterating before we actually even execute the darn thing.
More time spent on the planning and the prompting to build the prompt than the actual work.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. James, you're up, buddy.
Okay. That last question really prompted some things in my mind, but I'm going to try to answer my own question by playing around with it based on what James said and your response. So, and if I have a little more time, I might ask you. But real quick, two things. You mentioned that NotebookLM is like in a enclosed environment. Could you confirm that?
Yes. The way NotebookLM works is you either give it sources, you give it basically a Google query or a prompt to go out and have it search the internet and bring you back sources. And then you add those sources to the notebook. And now when you prompt, so let me just share my screen real quick.
And Rick, while you're doing that, what prompted that question is I wanted to ask you, from a security point of view, I think that when you use NotebookLM, it's one of the probably the most secure environment that I think I think that anyone is ever going to experience. And if you could slightly address that, because ultimately, if you say, James, it's fairly secure, then I'm going to ask you, are you familiar with OpenClaw?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's the question. Hold on, and you can probably combine everything together. So I'm interested in using Notebook LM as my LLM in Claude for security reasons. I mean, it's already contained, and if you have your OpenClaw in a what is it, VPS, you're less inclined to have bad experiences. That's the big picture why I asked the initial question. So any way you want to take it from here, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well,
I was going to jump in here, James, just to give a little bit of context. Is that when Rick and I talked about what his topic could be, he gave me a list of options, and one of the top ones that he wanted to talk about was OpenClaw. But I told him that other people on other sessions were already kind of in the middle of that. I know Emma's doing a 12-part series. She's had Ty Shane on. So I told him that maybe he wanted to reframe it, but he does know a lot about OpenClaw, and he's been really excited about it. And right before we went live, he was talking about, I'm spending all my time on OpenClaw. So he definitely can answer your question, right, Rick?
oh, you know it.
Okay, so Angie, in response to your answer, um, will he be able to do that in the limitation that you and him have agreed to, or should this be answered in a future, in the upcoming episodes?
Well, we have only a couple minutes left. So if he wants to go ahead and try to tackle your question, that would be great. Go ahead and
Thank you,
let
thank you,
Rick
thank you, thank
answer
you,
for sure.
thank
So
you.
the short answer is anything in the Google ecosystem, you're going to have to read their lack of privacy agreement. Some people would call it privacy agreement, but I preface it with the lack of privacy agreement. So if you're on, say, ricklock@gmail.com, my email address, that's really susceptible to the lack of privacy agreement. If you're rick.lock@calrema.com, my Google workspace, the one I'm paying for, that actually has something I would lean more towards being a privacy agreement. So much so that my business associate, when he creates something on his Google workspace, he can't share those things with anybody unless they're in his paid ecosystem. So that's beginning to answer your question. You need to know which part of the Google ecosystem are you in, and then the data that you're looking at here in the chat window is restricted. It's only going to go look at the information, the sources you've allowed into that NotebookLM. And then the link that I shared in here to hivewrite.ai, that's something I'm building with OpenClaw. Imagine being able to have a system that runs your operations, runs your sales, runs your marketing. It does it all. Yeah, good idea. So, and OpenClaw from a security standpoint, it's as secure as the operator makes it. And many operators don't comprehend that it's their job, not OpenClaw's job. So I'm running my OpenClaw, and the only way to get to it is using a VPN. So my laptop can get to it, my phone can get to it, not a VPS, a VPN, virtual private network.
Okay.
VPS is you're renting fractional computer time somewhere in the cloud. VPN, I have a Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is about 3/4 of the size of my phone. And only if you've got a lot of computer background do you want to play with the Raspberry Pi version of it. I have a background using Linux operating system. I have a background programming. So when it throws me a curveball, I'm not daunted by it. I can guarantee the curveball that I ran into this last week would have caused most people to walk away and walk away fast, because I was in token hell or whatever. I was locked out from all kinds of stuff, and it took me a few days to get through it. Claude and what's the other one? Perplexity were giving me misinformation. So it's like, yeah, go ahead and execute this command. Like, oh, great. And then it comes back and says error not, error in the command that was given. Priceless information. a good learning lesson for this guy. Like, trust but verify, but where do you verify? Because these things, you would think they would all knew what the hell they were doing. Yep. So did that clarify your question, James?
Not only did it clarify my question, Rick, it raised the things that you probably already encountered. I'm beginning to understand them and to put them into the matrix when you integrate the problem. Because here's the thing, and you know this, everybody here, you don't know what you don't know. So my experience, even if I watch everything, is going to be 100% unique compared to me. And so will everybody else's. However, the information that you're sharing and the way you're sharing it and the way Angie said it, okay, um, addresses some of those issues which subconsciously you're not aware of. But at the end of the day, as you've done here, and I appreciate you, you're better off.
Yep. And
All right. I know that we have 2 minutes left. I just wanted to give Rick a final couple minutes so that you can close us out here. It's been amazing. I think prompting is one of the most important things we should learn. And I just appreciate you guys being here. Sorry we're going long today, but I just love having you guys share what you're learning, what you're sharing, what has moved the needle for you. And when we're doing that together, I feel like we're helping us all grow in this journey. And we're all way further ahead than the average person, which is exciting. And some of this stuff is way down the path. And so if you're just here new, we do have a lot of the beginner stuff that I teach. And then we do go a little bit advanced on other calls. Tomorrow we have Russell Smith, and he always brings the heat. He is on this call as well. And then Friday we'll have a guest speaker. But I'm going to pass it back to you, Rick. And then when you close out in a couple minutes, give it back to Trisha, and she will close us officially out. Thank you for being here.
thank you, Angie. Thanks for having me. And thank you, Trisha, for being such an amazing facilitator. And you might want to share the link to the chat, Rick, like heaven sent you are. Thank you all for being here this morning. I also put a link to the amazingrick.ai, which gives you a kind of a sense of some of the other things I've accomplished using AI, such as embedding custom GPTs in websites and things along those lines. And on my OpenClaw, I've actually set it up. I have my own software engineering team on it at this point. So vibe coding on a Raspberry Pi on top of OpenClaw. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for that episode. All right, everybody. Thank you. And Trisha, close us out.
Thank you, Rick. This has been an amazing session. Great stuff. Thank you, Angie, as always, for a fun AI Party Tricks Wednesday. Ignite Fam, this is not the last time that we're seeing today. We've got Springboard Office Hours with Nunu, and we also have LLC and anything you need help, 2 p.m. CST, and of course, a show and tell later, 4 p.m. CST. See you later.